Deep within the Bible's most cryptic pages, there lies a chapter so terrifying that it will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about life, death, and the unseen forces that govern our world. What if the end of days wasn't just about destruction, but about something darker, something far more sinister, hidden in the shadows? In this video, Revelation uncovers not only the finality of the world's end, but the monstrous entities that dwell in the depths of the apocalypse. But here's the twist. These aren't merely creatures of chaos. No, these are beings sent forth as instruments of God's divine plan. And what's worse, they are coming for us. Are you ready to face the horrors of Revelation 9? Hold tight, for this journey will take you to places you've never dared to go. This is not a story for the faint-hearted. Welcome to a space where the deepest mysteries of the Bible are brought into the light. Here we delve into the hidden truths buried in ancient scripture, unlocking secrets that have been veiled for centuries. But remember, this isn't just any Bible study. This is a revelation that could change how you see the world and everything you believe forever. Stay with us, and what we uncover may haunt you for a long time. But before we dive into the depths of this terrifying revelation, let's first understand the chilling process that brought these horrors into the light, and why John was chosen to bear witness to this nightmare. It all began with a divine chain of communication. God spoke to Christ, Christ spoke to an angel, and the angel spoke to John. But what did John see when the heavens opened before him? What did he witness that was so important, so sacred, that he was chosen to carry such a dangerous burden? Why him, a simple fisherman now entrusted with the most catastrophic prophecy the world would ever know? He was a man like us, struggling with doubts, just trying to make sense of his place in this vast, unknowable universe. But in that moment, the veil was lifted, and he saw what no mortal had ever seen before. John sat alone, exiled on the island of Patmos. But he was far from alone in the truest sense. In the stillness of his solitude, the heavens themselves tore open. His eyes, weary from exile, were soon to witness things that defied not just earthly comprehension, but the very limits of human imagination. The sounds of angels singing, the sight of creatures unlike anything in the known world, creatures whose very forms made him question if they were born of heaven or hell. And as the visions rained down upon him, each more terrifying than the last, John's heart must have pounded with fear and awe. How was he, the beloved disciple, to carry such a weight? How could a man so small, so human, be the one chosen to bear witness to the ultimate unraveling of existence itself? As John sat there, a prisoner of his own faith, the earth around him whispered secrets lost to time. The seas, silent but powerful, lapped against the shore as if aware that the end of days was coming, that the secrets of eternity were being revealed in a forgotten corner of the world. And yet the question lingered, why was John the one to bear such responsibility? Was it simply because he was the closest to Christ, or was there something else, a deeper unspoken connection between this man and the divine plan? The weight on John's shoulders. He wasn't just writing down words, he was recording the very end of time. The moment when everything we knew would come crashing down, when all the darkness would rise and the light would either fall or shine brighter than ever. What was he thinking as he recorded creatures that seemed to crawl out of the deepest nightmares, creatures that didn't belong in this world, let alone in the vision of a God who had once created all things to be good? But as the visions continued, something strange happened. John began to see a truth beyond the terror. The creatures, the fires, the winds, they were not just agents of destruction. No, they were part of something far greater, a divine order, a plan unfolding. And within the devastation, there was hope. Revelation, John realized, was not just a prophecy of the end. It was a blueprint for how to live in the face of it, how to stand firm when the world is crumbling, how to hold on to faith when the very foundations of reality seem to break apart. Perhaps, just perhaps, this vision was not only to show us the end of days, but to teach us how to live through them, how to endure, how to rise. John saw more than destruction. He saw courage. He saw a call to action. He saw the strength that could rise from the ashes. But the message wasn't for just a single moment in history. It was a message that would echo through the ages. It was a message that was as much for the first-century Christians struggling in the shadow of Rome as it is for us today living in the shadows of our own trials. And so John wrote with trembling hands and a heart full of wonder. He wrote knowing that the world would not be the same again. But what was it that John saw in those visions that made him so sure? What truth buried beneath the horror did he uncover? And most importantly, what does it mean for us? Let's dive deeper into what John witnessed as we unravel the mysteries of Revelation, one vision at a time. Revelation isn't just about the future, it's about the now. In every age, in every corner of the world, believers have faced trials. But what does it truly mean to live with courage when the world around us is slipping away? What does it mean to hold on to hope when the very foundations of society, of family, and of health begin to crumble? John's vision is not some far-off prophecy that we'll only face in the distant future. No, it's a mirror, a reflection of the struggles we face right now. The monsters he saw were not just beasts, they were symbols, and they were meant for us. And then there were the locusts, the terrifying creatures that appeared in Revelation 9. Their wings were like the sound of chariots, their faces like lions, and they were unleashed upon the earth. But what do these locusts really symbolize? Are they just creatures of destruction, or do they represent something deeper, something far more personal? What are the locusts in your life? The doubts, the fears, the failures that crawl into every moment, eating away at your peace, your joy, your hope. You've felt them, haven't you? Those moments when it seems like everything is crumbling and you're powerless to stop it. You've lost a job, your health is failing, your relationships are withering away. The weight of it all presses in, and it's hard to breathe, hard to see beyond the storm. But Revelation says, keep going. It speaks to those moments of hopelessness and says, your fight has meaning, your perseverance has purpose. The trials we face are real. You can feel the weight in every step. But Revelation doesn't just promise destruction, it promises victory. It tells us to stand firm, to rise above the flames, to be warriors in the midst of the battle. In those dark visions that John saw, the monsters, the plagues, the judgment, it's easy to be overwhelmed by the terror. But what if those same terrifying visions were not signs of inevitable doom, but markers along the path to victory? What if every struggle, every tribulation is part of the larger story of redemption and triumph? The darkest moments can be transformed. Even the most terrifying creatures in John's vision, the locusts, the beasts, the judgment, they become symbols. Symbols of the victory ahead, of the triumph of light over darkness, and of the enduring faith that can see us through anything. But there's more. Revelation is not just about surviving the end. It's about thriving in the midst of adversity, about finding strength in the struggle and courage in the face of fear. It's not just a prophecy of what will come, it's a call to action, a call to live with purpose, a call to rise, to stand firm, and to be faithful no matter how dark it gets. Think of a trial you're facing right now, a battle that feels too big to fight, a weight you can't carry alone. I invite you to share your story with us. Let us walk this journey together as we unravel the mysteries of Revelation. You are not alone in this fight. But even as we face these trials, the question remains, what does it all mean? Why do we suffer, and how can we overcome? What truth can we find in the darkest visions? To answer that, we must go deeper into the revelation that John received, the messages hidden beneath the surface. And when we do, the answers may be more powerful than we ever expected. What is the secret that lies at the heart of Revelation? Let's continue our journey into the depths of this divine mystery. The power of Revelation stretches far beyond the pages of Scripture. It isn't just an ancient prophecy for a distant time, it's a force that has shaped our entire culture. Its symbols have embedded themselves in our collective imagination, lingering in the corners of our minds, haunting our art, literature, and even the films we watch. But here's the shocking truth. What if we've misunderstood these symbols all along? The four horsemen, the beasts, the lake of fire, they are more than just creatures of biblical legend. They've become archetypes etched into the human psyche. And now they appear in places we would least expect. Movies like The Matrix, The Lord of the Rings, Mad Max, and even modern apocalyptic thrillers. These images are everywhere. Why do they resonate with us so deeply? It's not just about religion, it's about the raw, primal truths that these symbols represent. War, famine, death, pestilence. These are forces that haunt humanity not just in the distant past, but in our own time. We see them unfold in the headlines every day on the news, in the tragedies we witness, in the wars that rage across the globe. What makes these symbols so terrifying isn't just their power, it's the truth they reveal about the human condition. They show us the darkness we all face, the forces beyond our control, the suffering that touches us all. These aren't just events that will one day occur, they are happening right now, in our world, in our lives. The Four Horsemen War, famine, death, and conquest. These aren't just abstract images from a book. They are the undercurrents that shape our world today. From the wars we wage across continents, to the famines and natural disasters, to the increasing sense of mortality that comes with the passage of time. Revelation speaks to the battles we fight every day, not just in some far-off future, but in the present moment. Every war, every plague, every injustice, these are the horsemen galloping through our lives, leaving their marks in our souls. The world may have changed in many ways, but the struggle between good and evil remains eternal. Revelation doesn't just tell us the future, it reveals the truth of our present. It opens our eyes to the battles raging within us and around us. It's in the faces of the children starving in war-torn lands. It's in the diseases that ravage the poor and the elderly. It's in the relentless pursuit of power, of greed, of conquest that drives nations to ruin. Revelation is not just a book of the past, it is a mirror that reflects the eternal struggle happening in our world today. The horsemen are already here, galloping through our lives, shaping the course of history in ways we cannot always understand. But where does this leave us? How do we, as individuals, as a society, react to the power of these symbols? What can we learn from the symbols of Revelation that will help us navigate the chaos of our own time? The monsters, the beasts, the fire, they are not here to simply frighten us. They are here to wake us up, to force us to confront the darkness in our world and in our hearts. Revelation is not a story of destruction, it is a call to action. It's a wake-up call to stand firm, to find hope in the chaos, and to live with purpose in the face of the coming storm. What do these symbols mean to you? Have they touched your life in ways you didn't realize? The horsemen, the beasts, the fire, they are not just figures of the past, but forces that are still shaping our world today. Share your thoughts with us in the comments, and together let's uncover what Revelation means for us now in our world today. Underscore 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 underscore. But the question lingers: why are these symbols so deeply embedded in our collective consciousness? What is it about them that continues to haunt us? And as we begin to uncover the significance of these symbols, we must ask, what does it mean for us to live with them, to face them in a world that feels increasingly fragile? We will dive deeper into the eternal perspective of Revelation. The struggle that John witnessed is not just for the future, it's for today. Let's continue to explore how Revelation calls us to live, to stand firm, and to rise above the chaos of our world. Time as we know it is an illusion. Revelation shatters our understanding of time, pulling us from the mundane rhythms of everyday life into a reality where every moment is infused with eternal significance. We live as if time is endless, as if we have all the time in the world to make decisions, to choose our paths. But Revelation forces us to reconsider everything. Do we live with urgency, with purpose, with integrity? Or do we allow the sands of time to slip through our fingers as if nothing matters beyond the present moment? What if the end of time isn't a distant event? What if it's already unfolding in front of us? In every choice we make, in every action we take, time, the one thing we can never get back, is slipping away. And every moment that passes brings us closer to the inevitable reckoning that Revelation warns us about. But it's not just about destruction, it's about a divine order, a plan, God's plan, and that plan has already been set in motion. God has already laid out the plan. The world will not spin endlessly in chaos. Injustice will not prevail forever. But here's the shocking truth: you must act now. Every choice you make in this fleeting moment echoes into eternity. This is where the true weight of Revelation lies. It's not just about the future, it's about how we live today. Each day is a choice to live with integrity, to fight for justice, to stand against the forces of darkness that seek to overtake us. Revelation asks, what are you living for? Every act of kindness, every decision to stand up for what is right, every refusal to be swept away by the tide of the world. These are the moments that define us. These are the moments that will echo long after we're gone. Think about your own life. What choices are you making? Are you living with the urgency of someone who knows that time is running out? Or are you simply letting the days slip by, numb to the eternal significance of each breath you take? The angels cry out, there will be no more delay. The end is near. The final judgment is coming. But with it comes hope. Hope that all things will be made right. Hope that justice will be served. Hope that the kingdom of God will finally be realized. But will you be ready for it? Will you live as though each day matters? Or will you allow the fleeting moments to pass without purpose, without meaning, without the urgency of someone who knows that time is a precious gift? Revelation tells us that the end is near, but it also tells us that there is still time. There is time to make a choice, to live a life of purpose, to embrace the divine plan, to act now. The question echoes in the silence. What are you waiting for? Time may feel endless, but Revelation reminds us that every day is a gift, and every decision we make echoes through eternity. The question is, what will you do with that gift? Will you squander it, or will you choose to live with integrity, with urgency, with purpose? Every word of Revelation pulses with this eternal truth. The end is coming, but so is the hope. It's not just about a final judgment. It's about how we live each moment, knowing that every choice, every action carries the weight of eternity. The final trumpet will sound, the heavens will open, and those who have lived with purpose, with faith, with courage, they will rise. But those who have let time slip away, who have lived as though there were no consequences, what will become of them? And so Revelation compels us to act, to rise, to live as if every moment counts. The choice is ours. How will we live? As the angels declare there will be no more delay, the urgency of their words lingers in the air, heavy with meaning. The end is coming, but with it comes the promise of something greater, something more glorious than we can imagine. What will you do with the time you have left? Will you embrace the divine plan, or will you let it slip by unnoticed? As we reflect on this eternal perspective, it becomes clear Revelation is not just a warning, it's a call to action. It's a summons to live with purpose, to make every moment count. And as we look towards the future, we must ask ourselves, how will we live in the light of eternity? In the next part, we'll dive into the unique transmission of Revelation, the divine chain that brought this message to John, and the truth it reveals about God's sovereign will. How did this sacred message come to us, and what does it mean for us today? Stay with us, for the next revelation could change everything you thought you knew about God's divine plan. Revelation's message was not just passed from God to Christ and then to an angel. This divine communication was carefully transmitted piece by piece until it reached John. But what does this divine chain of communication tell us about the authenticity of the message? What if this chain stretching from the divine to the human is more than just a method of transmission? What if it speaks to the very heart of the message itself? What does it mean for us as believers to receive a message delivered in such a sacred, deliberate way? This was no ordinary transmission. God spoke to Christ, and Christ spoke to an angel, a being of immense power and glory. And that angel spoke to John. Why this chain? Why not direct communication from God to John? Every detail in this chain of transmission was intentional. It wasn't accidental. John was not simply an observer standing by passively writing down what he saw. No, John was the chosen vessel. He was handpicked for this task. But why was John chosen to bear the weight of such a monumental message? one that would shake the very foundations of the world. God, in all his infinite wisdom, chose a fisherman, someone who had walked with Christ, someone who had seen the miracles, heard the parables, and felt the weight of Christ's love. But why would God choose him and not the powerful rulers, the religious leaders, or the scribes who meticulously recorded the laws of their people? Why John? The answer lies in the divine plan itself. John wasn't just a messenger, he was the bridge between the divine and humanity. He was the one who could carry the weight of this message without breaking under its pressure. John's role as the intermediary between the divine and humanity was not just symbolic. It was a calling, a divine appointment. His responsibility was not just to receive a vision, but to carry it, preserve it, and deliver it to the world. But it wasn't only John's role that mattered. We too are called to carry this message. The message of Revelation isn't confined to John alone. It's for every one of us. The words he wrote, the visions he saw, they are not just history, they are truth. And we are all called to be vessels of that truth. We are all called to bear the message, to be messengers of the divine. So what does it mean to carry the truth? What does it mean to be a messenger of this powerful revelation? To bear the weight of such a message means to live with purpose, to live with conviction, and to understand that every action, every word is part of a larger divine plan. We are all called to carry the truth that John received. We are all called to share it, to live it, to be the messengers for the world. The message of Revelation doesn't just end with John. It starts with him, yes, but it continues with us. The question is, will we carry it? Will we take this divine truth and make it our own? Will we live as though this message handed down through the ages is still meant for today? John's vision was just the beginning. The divine chain didn't end with him. It continues to echo in every believer, every person who receives the message and carries it forward. What does that mean for us today? What will we do with this sacred responsibility? John was the chosen vessel, but now we too are called to carry the truth. The message of Revelation is not just for one man, for one generation, or for one time in history. It is for every believer, every soul. It is for you. As we consider the transmission of Revelation, we must ask ourselves, how are we receiving this message? How are we allowing it to shape our lives? The divine chain of communication that began with God and ended with John is not finished, it is ongoing. And now we must ask, will we carry this message into the world? We'll explore the power of symbolism in Revelation. The beasts, the locusts, the fire, they all carry deeper meanings. But how do we unlock these symbols and understand their full significance for our lives today? The symbols of Revelation, are they just ancient metaphors, or do they hold the keys to understanding the very nature of good and evil? These symbols are not mere stories or allegories. They are the lens through which we see the eternal struggle between light and darkness. The beasts, the seals, the trumpets, they aren't just ancient prophecies. They are reflections of the forces at play in our world, forces that still shape the lives of every person walking this earth today. Look closely at these symbols. The dragon, the lake of fire, the four horsemen, are they just characters in a story? Or are they representations of real spiritual forces that govern our lives, our choices, and our world? The dragon, the lake of fire, the four horsemen. These are not just characters in a forgotten tale. They represent real living forces, spiritual forces that have been with us since the dawn of time, shaping the course of history and humanity. And now their influence is more evident than ever before. The dragon isn't just a symbol of Satan, it is the embodiment of all that opposes God. It represents chaos, destruction, and every force that seeks to tear apart the fabric of creation. The lake of fire isn't merely a place of torment, it is a symbol of eternal separation from God, a representation of the fate that awaits all who align themselves with evil. We've all heard these images before, but have we truly stopped to consider their full weight, their full significance? Revelation uses these terrifying images to do more than frighten us. It reveals the true nature of evil, showing us exactly what we're up against. The images are not just meant to shock, they are meant to wake us up. The four horsemen riding across the apocalyptic landscape aren't just symbols of future events. They are reminders of the realities we face every day: war, famine, death, and conquest. They are the forces that drive humanity into conflict, into suffering, and into destruction. And they are not just coming, they are already here. In the book of Revelation, the symbols are layered with deeper meanings. The dragon is not merely a mythical creature. It represents everything that stands in opposition to God's will. It is not just a devil, but the culmination of every temptation, every lie, every system of oppression that seeks to keep humanity in bondage. What is the dragon's real face? The dragon is greed. It is hate. It is corruption. It is the empire of sin that keeps the world in chains. And in the shadows it whispers to us, pulling us towards the edge of the abyss. The lake of fire is not a metaphor for some distant future. It is the inevitable consequence of living a life apart from God. It is a spiritual death, a separation from the Creator that leaves nothing but emptiness in its wake. We hear the warning in the voices of the prophets, in the pleas of the saints, but it is revelation that opens our eyes to the full cost of ignoring the call of God, to the true spiritual darkness that awaits anyone who chooses the path of the dragon. The symbols in Revelation are not just pictures of destruction. They are a warning, and more importantly, they are a call to arms. Revelation calls us to recognize the enemy and prepare for the battle of our lives. It's a battle that is fought not just in the streets or on the battlefields, but in our hearts and minds. This isn't just a story about the past, it is a living message for today. These forces are not distant. They are right here in our world, in our lives. Revelation is not just a prophecy, it is a call to action. As the dragon rages, the horsemen ride, and the lake of fire burns bright. Revelation asks us, what will you do? Look around you. What symbols of evil do you see in your own life? Are there areas of darkness, greed, hatred, injustice that are leading you down a path of destruction? Are you ready to stand firm to fight against them? Share your thoughts with us below, and together, let's continue this journey toward understanding the truth of Revelation and how we can live in its light. The symbols of Revelation are not just warnings, they are the keys to understanding the world we live in today. We will dive deeper into how these ancient images continue to shape our lives. From the trials we face to the spiritual battles we fight, the message of Revelation is not just for the future, it is for us now. Stay with us, for the next part will reveal how we can take these symbols and transform them into power, the power to change our world. Revelation's teachings are not just for the future, they are for today. The world we live in, the trials we face, the struggles that seem overwhelming, they are all part of the larger story that Revelation paints. It's not just an ancient prophecy, it's a manual for how to live, to stand firm, and to thrive, even in the face of tribulation. So what can we learn from the horrors and triumphs described in this sacred text, and how can we apply those lessons to our lives today? Revelation doesn't just describe the end of time. It's a reflection of the battles we fight every day. It's a mirror of the struggles we face in our relationships, our communities, and our very souls. The horrors in Revelation are not distant, they are now. And the triumphs, they are just as real. The trumpet calls, the locusts, the judgments, these aren't just events that will one day unfold. They are symbols of the trials we face every day. From the wars that rage in our hearts to the personal battles we fight within ourselves, Revelation speaks to us in the here and now. The trumpet calls aren't just sounds from the past, they are the wake-up calls we need to hear today. The locusts, they represent the relentless challenges we face, the fears, the doubts, the temptations that swarm around us, trying to devour our peace and joy. The judgments, they are the consequences of our choices of how we live and the way we choose to face or ignore the forces of good and evil. How will you respond to these trials? Will you shrink back in fear, or will you stand firm with the strength that only God can provide? Will you allow the locusts of this world to consume you? Or will you rise above them, knowing that there is victory on the other side? Revelation challenges us to take a stand, to live with purpose, to be vigilant, to keep our eyes fixed on the divine will of God. It doesn't leave us helpless. It doesn't abandon us in the storm. It calls us to action. Revelation doesn't just show us the horrors of the world, it shows us the path to victory. It's not enough to simply wait for the end. We are called to fight. We are called to be active participants in God's plan, to live with integrity, with courage, and with faith that transcends fear. We don't sit passively and wait for the world to fall apart. We rise, we act, we engage with the divine purpose that is unfolding before us. And the book of Revelation doesn't end in defeat. It doesn't leave us hanging in despair, looking toward a future of endless suffering. No, it ends with victory. A new heaven, a new earth, the restoration of all things. What side will you be on? In the end, the message of Revelation is clear. There is hope. There is a future. The battle will end and God's victory will be realized. The new heaven and the new earth are not just a dream. They are a promise, and they are coming. What will we do with that promise? Will we live in anticipation of it? Will we align our lives with the divine will of God so that we can be part of that eternal victory? We may face locusts. We may hear the trumpet calls. We may endure judgments. But in the end, we will stand victorious as heirs of the new heaven and the new earth. And it's not just a future promise, it's a present reality if we choose to live in it. The teachings of Revelation challenge us to examine how we live today. Are we living as though the end is near? Are we standing firm in our faith, walking in the light, fighting the good fight? Or are we allowing the darkness of this world to swallow us whole? The end is not the end, it's the beginning. Revelation doesn't just show us the future, it shows us how to live today with urgency, with purpose, and with the hope of the eternal victory that is already ours in Christ. As we close the part, the story of Revelation continues to unfold in our own lives. Each choice we make echoes into eternity. The trials, the victories, the moments of despair and hope, they are all part of the greater story that God is telling. The question remains, will we embrace our part in that story? The mysteries of Revelation are vast. The horrors are real, but so is the hope. And that hope, that promise of a new heaven and a new earth, is found in the eternal perspective of God's divine plan. We've walked through the darkness of this prophecy together, and while the path may seem uncertain, we know that God's light shines brighter than any shadow. So are you ready to stand firm in your faith, even when the world around you is crumbling? Will you live with the urgency that Revelation calls for, knowing that each choice we make echoes into eternity? The choice is yours. If you've journeyed with us this far, leave a comment with your thoughts. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more revelations, for this journey is just beginning. What will you do with the truth you've discovered today? The story is far from over. Stay with us, for the mysteries of the future await.